What's up YouTube, Mambuna Marcus here. As you can see from the styrofoam box in front of you, I have another fish unboxing video today. Today I was out in the Mississauga area, so that's the GTA, what we call the Greater Toronto area. And in Mississauga there's a number and quite a variety of fish stores. So when I'm in the area I like to make my rounds, and it's very hard for me just to look and not purchase when, you know, there's 3 or 4 quality fish stores all within, you know, a 5-minute drive of each other. So as you can see, I didn't go empty-handed, and I'm going to get right to it. So first bag, what we have here, and again it's going to be a little difficult to see the fish because of the logos on the bag. It's hard to see, you know, it's more of like an algae eating scavenger type fish. It's called Gara rufa. And it's also known, its common name, as the medicine fish. So these are the fish that you would see in those spa videos where people put their feet or their body into the water and let the fish, you know, feed off basically dead skin, psoriasis. Again, one of these spa type fish, very interesting and cool. A lot of people don't know that they are available in the aquarium trade. So if you're looking for a very active, you know, interesting fish with a cool personality and good scavenger and algae eater, look up the Gara rufa at your local fish stores. And again, many of them do carry them. Again, it's just a fish that gets a little overlooked because most people don't identify with the Latin name. But again, the medicine fish is a real cool one. And obviously in the second part of the video I'm going to update you guys on how everything settled in. So let's go to bag number 2. This bag's popped, so I gotta be careful. It's gonna be hard to see. But basically, there's a few catfish in here. They're all swimming upside down. No, they're not dead. They're not dying. They're just upside down catfish. So they're a part of the CICHLDS family. Probably one of the most popular of that family in the hobby. And again, these guys were on special, so I couldn't go without. They were $1.99 each, which is basically a steal. But again, overall a fairly hardy fish, not as hardy as some of the other CICHLDS cats, but they make a wonderful addition as a scavenger to any community tank. So if you're keeping small fish or a planet aquarium, a very interesting fish that you guys can pick up that's pretty much readily available in most local fish shops. Let's see if you guys can see there. These are redfin blue botia. So again, another variety of aquarium loach. Very popular. Usually you see them mixed in tanks with tiger botias. They're known to be a little bit of a, you know, aggressive as a loach. But again, will make a wonderful addition with, you know, African cichlids and any other fish that are a little pugnacious. So these guys, like I said, not that they're uncommon, they're quite common. But they, you know, again, the price was right, so I couldn't do without. But as you can see, they're pretty cool, and anybody who's kept loaches, you know, their personality is second to none. So actually I have 3 bags of these guys, so I'm not going to go through every single bag that has one. These are bleakeri, so very closely related to, I believe, your Polini or Polini Madagascar cichlids. These guys can get quite large and quite aggressive. They'll develop beautiful midnight black, basically, and the bleakeri, different than the Polini or Polini, is notorious for having the larger dotting. So you can see he's got quite a bit of spangling and speckles throughout the body. Again, you know, in a bag, you know, these guys are not that impressive, and especially as juveniles. But if you guys are watching this, maybe I'll put a link in the description to an adult pair. These are magnificent cichlids. They can become, you know, a little too aggressive, you know, for most, and they do get a good size. But again, these are awesome cichlids, and again, not as common up here in Canada as you would think. I know in the States they're pretty common, but the larger spot, like I said, they're a little more uncommon than the small spot. So specifically I was looking for these guys. And this will be a beautiful fish for down the road once it matures. In this bag, might be hard to see again. Any of the small bags are just covered in logos, so it's very difficult to see. Maybe I can angle them. But basically it's another dwarf pike cichlid. In one of my last videos I did pick one up, and he is doing quite well, but I figured, you know, he might need a friend. And this little guy at the aquarium shop was doing very well. Very hardy, good fat stomach. And that's maybe a note that I can recommend to people that are purchasing dwarf cichlids or dwarf pike cichlids. Purchase them with a little bit of girth to them. You know, any of the ones that are, you know, eating dry food or are, again, not too picky when it comes to eating, that's what you want. I found that the ones that come in that are a little skinny are very hard sometimes to get onto dry food, and then because they have no reserve, they don't seem to last long. So make a note, if you ever buy dwarf pike cichlids, get them with a stomach. These fish are always cool, quite common, quite popular. These are whiptail catfish. I picked up 3 of these guys, and they're not full grown. You know, they might grow another inch or 2, but again, an excellent scavenger. You know, mainly nocturnal. If you have a lot of hiding spots, you're not going to see them as very active. But again, if they become quite comfortable with the aquarium surroundings, they might get used to, you know, the times that you feed the fish and come out and obviously scavenge, you know, any leftover food during feeding time. So really cool fish. Again, kind of hard to see with the logo. That's a little bit better. Obviously related to your plecos, but real long and slender. So with these 2 bags, those are the bleaker-eye. And last bag, I picked up a real big guy. This is what they call a marble sleeper goby. I've seen them sometimes named as like water cows or sea cows or something like that. Again, it's a freshwater fish. I'm pretty sure it can handle brackish or any other water conditions. Most gobies typically are very hardy, but these guys are quite popular, and they can get quite large. The largest I've ever seen, I would say, was probably around 12-13 inches and a lot of girth to them. But again, this will be a good fish. Usually it can go well into like a predator style aquarium. And I found that, again, they love their live food or their frozen food. Never had real luck with getting them onto dry food, but as you can see, very impressive, cool looking fish. But again, I have a specific tank for him. He's got a couple dings out of his head. So I'm going to make sure again that I quarantine everything before I introduce it into an established aquarium. So make sure you catch the second part of the video, and I'll show you how everything's settled in. So here we are now. This has been a few days after I introduced the fish into quarantine. Depending on the species that I'm keeping or mixing together, a lot of times I will quarantine individual species on their own, or again, if they come from pretty much the same system, if they're compatible, I'll put them in the same tank together. So as you can see, this tank has quite a mixture. It has the dwarf pike cichlid, it has the 4 upside down catfish, it has the Gararufas, and it also has the 3 larger whiptail cats. So as you can see, the whiptail cats look real cool up close, and it's one of those fish that if it makes it through quarantine and they adjust to the aquarium conditions well, they're usually quite a hardy fish. But sometimes if they do not adjust, or again they went through the shipping process fairly rough, you can get quite a large die-off. So with these guys doing well, I'm quite thrilled. Usually when there's an issue or a problem, they'll kind of croak or pass away on you sooner than later. So other than that, I've noticed that their appetite's been good. I've been supplementing with some algae wafers. The scavengers in the tank love it. I also been throwing in a little decapsulized brine shrimp. So for any of the more finicky eaters, you know, obviously that would be a nice treat. So as you can see, the upside down cats are doing well. The 2 Gararufa, they're very comical fish. They love to play together. Again, I'd highly recommend these fish for anybody. Again, very entertaining. The dwarf pike cichlid's doing what it's doing. It's a very shy fish. Originally, before I shot the video, I had a lot of these plastic plants sitting in the tank to provide cover and basically security. but in order for me to update you guys, I had to remove it out of the tank. So other than that, you can see all these guys are doing quite well. And I'm pretty sure, again, within the next 3 to 4 weeks, I'll have no problem introducing them into my established aquariums. So overall, this tank has some of the more finicky species, and everything so far is doing quite well. To the tank beside it, I have the bleacheri. I divided the bleacheri into their own aquariums. There's one right here. I believe he's one of the males. And again, he's a little shy right now. Obviously, he's a little camera shy, but he's doing well. He's already accepted dry food. I'm not too worried about this fish species. They're very durable. And the smaller one, which I believe is a female, she's in her own 5-gallon aquarium, but she's very shy, so there's a good chance we won't see her. But the third largest, or the third of the bunch, is the other male, and I'll showcase him in the other second part of this part of the video. So as you can see, these guys are doing well, and now let's see how the other guys are doing. So here's the largest of the 3 bleacheri. Everybody in this tank is being extremely shy. I have him quarantined in my 35-gallon tank, and I also have 3 of the redfin blue botia in the tank. So in order for him to come out, I have to throw some food in. But again, I don't see the botia out, so let me try again. So last but not least, here's the marble sleeper goby. He seems to be doing very well. Like I had mentioned, these are a very hardy species. Even though he had a large mark out of his head and a little bit of a bacterial irritation in his eye, I was quite comfortable that he would adjust and do quite well. So since then, I've introduced a little bit of live food for him. He's taken to it nicely. I did a nice large water change, introduced some sea salt, and he looks to be almost 100%. So I'm pretty sure he'll pull through and do well. And again, he's not going to do a lot for you. It's a pretty stationary fish. But again, a real interesting fish. So if you ever see one in your local fish shop, you have a large aquarium, or you're keeping large predatory fish, these guys make a wonderful addition. And basically, like I said, they're hardy. And once you get them onto, basically frozen food, they'll usually readily accept dry food after that. So they're a hardy species, and like I said, I'm happy to see that he's doing well. Thanks for watching.